to the World of Wrestling podcast, here today to discuss about boxing news and rumors, episode number 10. And the very first article I want to cover here for boxing this week that I came across, which is actually a good one. This was on May 4th. This article came out. Dana White confirmed to debut TKO boxing with a Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford super fight. This is huge. I really wonder what they're going to put together for a boxing card. This should be interesting. The Fatal Fury events that occurred over the last 2 weekends from April 26th with Conor Benn and Chris Eubanks Jr. was entertaining. I haven't gotten a chance to actually see the fight. From what I heard, it was a very entertaining fight. Pretty close contest, but Eubanks really was ahead in that fight overall. And Ryan Garcia's fight with Rolly Romero was actually astonishing that Ryan Garcia lost. Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney was another fight that occurred. And Teofimo Lopez actually won against Arnold Barboza in that fight, which I'm going to go over Teofimo Lopez in this video today with you guys, because he's actually interested in Jaron Boots Ennis, which should be a fucking great fight, and he's willing to move up to his weight class so that they could actually have this fight occur. I think this is fucking fantastic. I like the tenacity of Teofimo Lopez, how he wants to upgrade his stock with his name and just improve his popularity within the boxing community. I think it's going to be a great fight if it occurs. Most definitely. But yeah, Dana White with the TKO boxing promotion, should be fucking great. I really wonder what kind of fight card they're going to be able to put together. I am definitely buying this pay-per-view. I'm not missing this. This is a huge fucking event between these two guys. I know that Canelo Alvarez's last performance on May 3rd was not impressive by most critics. He kind of underperformed, and it was a very boring fight. But, yeah, I'm actually interested in how Dana White will do with this big fight that's coming up. I believe it's in September, which I'm definitely looking forward to and most definitely buying, without question. So, here's what's stated. Even a record-breaking drab win over William Skull on Saturday night couldn't dampen the appetite of Canelo Alvarez's next move. It was expected that the event was little more than a curtain raiser for the true biggest fight in boxing. This is basically your today's version of Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, straight up. And the boxing supremo Turkey didn't disappoint as he delivered a face-off between the undisputed super middleweight champion and his two-weight undisputed champion Terence Crawford and Riyadh after the fight. Dana White to launch the TKO boxing with Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. After the initial face-off and date announcement for Alvarez versus Crawford, Turkey took to X to announce further details. Dana White wasn't mentioned during the awkward in-ring segment, but the event was confirmed to be the launch of TKO boxing in the aftermath. We will deliver the fight of the century with Riyadh season on September 12th at Las Vegas Gillette Stadium. Oh, fuck. The legend Canelo defends his Ring Magazine title versus the great Terence Crawford. TV platform will be announced soon with big surprise. My brother Dana White will promote this first TKO boxing event with me. It will be something crazy. The TV platform he is alluding to is believed by industry insiders to be Netflix, who have previously worked on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. They air the TKO group's WWE events worldwide, and are about to have their second boxing event with Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3 on July 11th in New York. I might catch that. Terence Crawford opens up about Canelo Alvarez fight. Following a disappointing decision win for Alvarez, Crawford made his way into the ring to face off with his fellow undisputed champion. The pair waited for Ring Magazine belt to be presented before sharing an intense moment that sent boxing fans into a frenzy. Speaking with seconds out after the fight, Crawford said Canelo is the face of boxing. He is the best fight for Terence Crawford out there and the biggest fight for Terence Crawford out there. So that's why Terence Crawford wants to take the opportunity to share the ring with another great. September 12th, we are all going to see if the weight makes a difference or not. One fight at a time. I don't think Canelo has slipped as a fighter. William was just doing a good job moving a lot and neutralizing his power punches. If you watch the styles that beat him, they didn't move a lot. They move a little bit, but not as much as William Skull did. And that's pretty much it. So, Dana White has been announced as the guy that's going to be handling the Terence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight. We just don't know what else is going to be on this card, and I'll be straight up honest with you guys. I am fucking stoked for this. Apparently, they might be on Netflix. I don't know if they're going to charge people to watch the event, or is it going to be part of the subscription? If that is part of the subscription, guys, that is a huge, huge break for us as boxing fans. I mean, granted, lately I have not been watching boxing, which I need to get back into watching these previous events that I haven't gotten to see. It really upsets me that I can't afford to pay for all these pay-per-view events and keep up with boxing as it goes live and everything, but I just don't have the money and I don't have the time to sit through every single boxing event. A lot of these boxing events are like 6+ hours. UFC and boxing run over each other on Saturday, so it's kind of hard for me to do that, cover pro wrestling, and actually watch the boxing events as they happen. So it's kind of a difficult thing. I catch what I can with boxing. I do keep up with the news and rumors that's going on within the sport. But I love boxing. I really do. I enjoy watching it. I don't, like I said before in the last video, I don't bet on it anymore because the odds are just, you can't really win with it. Not all that much. I mean, you can if you want to bet one fighter and he's a minus 1,000 something and, win little bits of money, or bet on favorites that or underdogs that may not even win. And if you parlay, it just makes it even more difficult. So it's just kind of like, you just watch boxing because you just love the sport. That's pretty much why I do it, and why I cover it here on this channel. Because I do love boxing. My dad was a boxer, like I've mentioned before in previous videos. And he taught me a lot about boxing. And It also reminds me of him because he passed away last year. So it is something that means a lot to me as a reminder of him and so forth. So it's that plus the enjoyment of seeing two guys get in the ring and just flat out just throw punches. Nothing more, nothing less. MMA is a little bit more than that. It's kicks, it's takedowns, it's elbows to the face, shit like that. There's a lot of different variables and variety of ways to win the fight in MMA, which I, don't get me wrong, I appreciate and love. I fucking love sitting through a UFC fight card. I just wish that UFC and boxing did not overlap each other on the same day. Because, like I said before, if it didn't, I fucking watch boxing live when it happens. But unfortunately, it's not the case. Unless I choose one over the other, which I might do. Who knows? If a big event comes up. But, yeah. I think this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what fights come about and are added to this card. It should be fucking fantastic. What I'd like to cover is actually about Teofimo Lopez. Reiterates the desire to move up for Jaron Ennis. It's about who's smartest, is the title of this, from ringmagazine.com. Teofimo Lopez recognizes why skeptics think he shouldn't fight Jaron Ennis. Philadelphia's Ennis is a career-long welterweight whose chin has withstood shots from bigger fighters than Lopez without incident. The taller, rangier Ennis also appears physically equipped to thrive in the junior middleweight division, 2 weight classes above where Lopez has operated during the past 2.5 years. Lopez loves challenges, though thus the Ring and WBO Junior Welterweight Championship wants to test himself against another elite level talent such as Ennis. The opportunity to become a champion in a third division also appeals to Lopez, 27 now at this point. He's still young, who could add a third ring belt to his resume if he were to upset Ennis, who's 34-0 with 30 knockouts. Las Vegas, Lopez, 22-1 with 13 KOs, considers Ronaldo Raleigh Romero a potential opponent as well, now that the former WBA super lightweight champion upset Ryan Garcia, who is now 24-2 and has 20 KOs in the main event of the Ring's Fatal Fury City of the Wolves card Friday night in Times Square. Lopez, who defeated Arnold Barboza Jr., who's now 32-1 with 11 KOs unanimously on points Friday night, clarified during his post-fight press conference that challenging Ennis for his Ring, IBF, and WBA 147-pound championships is his preference over fighting Romero, who's 17-2 with 13 knockouts. I don't know, it's up to my team, it's up to everybody, Lopez said. I think Raleigh definitely still mentioned earlier in the press conference that he still wants to see Garcia and Devin Haney fight regardless. And it's up to him at this point. I claimed who I want to go after, and that's Jaron Ennis Boots. Many people think I'm too small for that, but it's not about who's the smallest. It's about who's the smartest. And I think that I have all the tools to claim the 3 divisions of the lineal world title. Ennis is more interested in fully unifying the welterweight titles, accomplishing that would require the 27-year-old to defeat the WBC champion Mario Barrios, who's 29-2 with 1 draw and 18 knockouts, and the WBO champion Brian Norman Jr., who's 27-0 with 21 knockouts, who are both he's actually a very impressive fighter. Mario Barrios, not too impressed with him. He's okay. He's not great, but he's good. Norman of Conyers, Georgia, is scheduled to make an optional title defense against Japan's Jin Sasaki, who's 19-1 with 1 draw and 17 KOs on June 19th at Auto Center General Gymnasium in Tokyo. San Antonio's Barrios might fight Manny Pacquiao, who's 62-8 with 2 draws and 39 knockouts in July if the Filipino legend comes out of retirement. Holy fuck, dude. Really? Barrios is going to face Manny Pacquiao. Oh my god, really? I would find that to be absolutely fucking stupid. I don't know why Manny Pacquiao would come out of retirement. The man's 46 years old. I mean, come on, man. How much more do you need to prove? How much more money you need to make? Like, there's something you're doing wrong in your own personal life that is causing you to have to keep coming back to boxing. I mean, Jesus Louise. I hope this man doesn't develop brain damage by the time he's in his 50s or 60s. Ennis expects to return to the ring sometime in October. His promoter, Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn, who I can't stand anymore from the commentary he made about UFC being less popular than boxing. I think he's a fucking dumbass. Has already had preliminary discussions with Norman's handlers about making that fight Norman has to defeat Sasaki. Lopez hopes Ennis changes his mind and seriously considers facing him instead. I have that champion's mentality. As you can see here on the table, Lopez said, pointing to his championship belts displayed on the dais, or displayed on the table. If he's a champion, like he says he is, he's got his first Ring Magazine world title. I think that he's definitely looking forward to defending it. I would hope so, anyway. And that's pretty much it. Me, personally, Teofimo Lopez, Jaron Ennis Boots, definitely all for it. I think it would be a great fight. I think Lopez is an impressive fighter. I really do. For him to beat Lemchenko back in the day, I think it was in like 2016 through 2017. Very young kid, surprised everybody. I mean, I watched that fight unfold right in front of me. I was shocked when I saw it happen. For him to be able to accomplish that, I mean, he's an underdog in this type of fight against Jaron Ennis. Based on height and reach advantage, I mean, I would have to see the comparison between the two. Let me go on Tapology real quick and pull that up, see if I can get that. Give me one sec. Okay. So Jaron Ennis is 5'10" with a 74-inch reach 74-inch reach, which is pretty damn good. And then you go to Teofimo Lopez. Hold on one sec. Teofimo Lopez does have a somewhat of a disadvantage. I mean, he's 5'8", 68.5-inch reach. So I mean, he has a 6-inch reach disadvantage, and height-wise, height-wise, he's got a 2-inch disadvantage to him as well. So he's got quite of a disadvantage on his end that might make it difficult for him to have even a fair chance at winning this fight. He'd really have to go inside on him and go for the body. That's what I think he would probably would work out best for him. So yeah, I think it's a huge mountain for him to climb. With the level of what Ennis is and how good he is, I think he would have a challenge for himself. And I think it's a great challenge. It shows that he really wants to be a true fighter, a fucking fighting champion. And to take on an obstacle like that, to me, proves that he is what he says he is. He's wanting to actually be a true fighting champion. I think that that's great. I think that shows that he, even with the defeat, I think it could build his stock. I mean, if he even was to take an L where it's a split decision or keep the fight even remotely close with the disadvantage that he has, it might even question a lot of people about Jaron Ennis and how good he is. Because at the end of the day, Jaron Ennis has everything, and I mean everything, to his advantage to win the fight. Another thing, this also pressures Jaron Ennis. Ennis wants challenges, big name fights. Teofimo Lopez is definitely that guy. He is a big name in boxing. People know who the fuck he is if you follow boxing. If you're a casual, you might not know him. Unless you watched him on Top Rank Boxing, which is where I was more familiar with him until I've gotten into the boxing quite a bit more. Teofimo Lopez could possibly, put Jaron Ennis on, I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe this. Put him in the pressure. Put him under a lot of pressure. Because, for example, if Jaron Ennis does not accept the fight and he could actually take on this fight, it would make him look like a fucking pussy to other people who are followers of boxing. This is everything Jaron Ennis is looking for. A big name to fight, a fight that you could put on a pay-per-view card and main event it. I honestly think that this is a fight that you could main event on pay-per-view and get a good, I'd say about 700,000 people to purchase this on pay-per-view, which is not bad. I think it's a fair amount of people, depending on the amount of money you're asking for people to pay for this. If you're asking for $69.99, I'd probably pay for that. That's fair. That's not a absolute rip. But if you want to charge people like $79.99, $99.99, you're out of your fucking mind. That's just crazy. The Fatal Fury back-to-back events were actually a very fair price. For a bundle, you could get it for $89.99. Individually, they were $59.99. So that's actually not a bad deal, getting two boxing events for fucking $89.99 total to be able to watch both back-to-back days. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I think Teofimo Lopez and Jaron Ennis would be a fucking entertaining fight. But I think Teofimo Lopez has got a huge mountain to climb. And, I just think he's biting a little bit more than he can chew. But I like it. I like his tenacity. I like his interest in wanting to move up in his career and fight bigger names. So I got to give a lot of kudos to Teofimo Lopez in that aspect. About Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was a disappointment. I didn't actually get to watch the fight live or anything. But to hear that Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly Romero really shocked the hell out of me. I thought Ryan Garcia was going to win this fight. So the title reads, Ryan Garcia does not lift his head, and Bob Arum gives him another dose of reality with a new blow. So here's what the article states. Ryan Garcia's return to boxing was an outright failure as he lost to Ronaldo Romero last Friday at Times Square in New York, and his prestige continues to plummet after the poor performance in a card in which Teofimo Lopez stood out, defeating Arnold Barboza to take away his undefeated record. After returning from a year-long suspension for testing positive for Osterine in his fight against Devin Haney on April 20th, 2024, King Rai needed to make a statement, but he paid dearly for his lack of rhythm and overconfidence, which caused him to be sent to the canvas by Rolly Romero in the second round, and fearing being knocked out, he went on the defensive. Although Teofimo Lopez has been mentioned as a possible opponent for Ryan Garcia, the newborn Honduran promoter Bob Arum, head of Top Rank, spoke on the subject after the fight last Friday in an interview with Fight Hub TV, in which the name Devin Haney also came up, and he dismissed them as fights that would appeal to them. Those are not really competitive fights for Teofimo. Lopez Arum replied, which gives a blow of reality about how King Rai is seen in the boxing world after his last fights, being knocked out by Gervonta Davis, testing positive against Devin Haney, and falling with Rolly Romero in his reappearance. Ryan Garcia also lacked focus, as during the week he talked more about a rematch against Devin Haney than the fight he had in store against Rolly Romero, where at the Grand Arrivals event held in New York, he also threatened to beat up Bill Haney. Yes, I'm willing to prove it. I can't wait. I'm also going to beat up his father, Ryan Garcia threatened about Bill Haney, and added, it's him I want to beat up, but Devin can win again. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. Maybe we can turn it back in New York. Why not? Let him come back and do what I did to him last time. And that's pretty much the entire article there. I think reading this kind of explains everything about Ryan Garcia. It explains why he lost. Worrying about a fight that hasn't even happened yet for a rematch to prove that you earned the win the first time, despite being tested positive for a drug substance you shouldn't have had in your system in the first place, and not worried about a top-tier fighter like Rolly Ronaldo or Romero, I think kind of explains everything, and definitely proves to me that Ryan Garcia's got a lot to learn about his boxing skills and so forth. He was out of boxing for a whole year, not doing anything major, maybe training. I hope that's at least what he was doing during that year-long suspension. But other than that, the guy has not done anything. And he's sitting there worried about Devin Haney in a rematch when Devin Haney had a fight before his. He was the co-main event, Devin Haney. I just don't understand the logic there by Ryan Garcia to be worried about him when he had a major fight that was coming up, and he did not focus on Romero. And all it did was help Romero get the W, in my opinion. I'm very surprised that Ryan Garcia lost, because I was expecting him to win that fight. And unfortunately he didn't. So, it is what it is, But I hope Ryan Garcia turns things around and learns from this mistake. I don't think he should face Devin Haney just yet. They're both young anyway. They're in their mid-20s. They still got plenty of years left in their careers where they could face each other again in a rematch. He needs to get a W, and he needs to get something, an impressive victory before he moves on to Devin Haney. Because in all honesty, Ryan Garcia has a lot more to prove than what he thinks he does. Because what he did here this past Friday, last Friday, I should say, since tomorrow is Friday, did not impress me whatsoever. I was very disappointed hearing that he lost. And I didn't even know he got knocked down. He got knocked down in the second round. That's just fucking crazy. That I don't understand why Ryan Garcia came into this fight not focused on the current fight at hand. But unfortunately he didn't, so he ended up losing the whole fucking thing and blew his shot at possibly having a rematch with Devin Haney. I think his rematch with Devin Haney needs to be put on hold, and he needs to focus on a new opponent to get himself back on track, bottom line. Cool, I want to go over, and that is about Jamal Charlo making a comeback. Is it a pipe dream, or is it a comeback? He vows to conquer Lamina and plant en route to a career-ending showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Good luck trying to do all that while Canelo's on his way out. Probably his fight with Terrence Crawford might be the end of his career. He may not even care to fight after that because he's going to make so much fucking money it's not even funny. But anyway, Jermell Charlo says his plans are to defeat his tune-up opponent Thomas Lamana on May 31st, beat Caleb Plant, and then end his career against Canelo Alvarez. It sounds like a pipe dream, at least to the Boxing News 24/7 claim it is. 34-year-old Charlo faces Lamana, who's 39-5 with one draw, 18 KOs in a 10-round fight on the Caleb Plant versus Jose Armando Resendez on Premier Boxing Championship on Prime Video at the Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas. That would be Jamal's first action since his 10-round decision win over Jose Benavidez Jr. on November 25th, 2023. He was coming off a 2-year layoff for that fight, and supposedly he was going to keep busy. That didn't happen, so here we are 2 years later, and Charlo is coming back again saying the same things as he did last time about how he will stay busy. How can anyone believe in him? Charlo must have preserved enough of his game in the 4 most dormant years to have a shot at beating Plant to get the Canelo payday. He hasn't performed well since his win over Sergey Derevyanchenko in 2020. The only 2 fights Jermell has had since were lackluster performances against Juan Macias Montel and Jose Benavidez Jr. Presumably, Charlo's 33-0 with 22 KOs would be retiring due to the payday being so huge in the Canelo fight that they wouldn't want to continue fighting. He's already been living well off the money he banked in his career, so for him to fight just once since 2021. Retirement goal for him, now that I got the team that I've wanted, this Jermell Charlo beats Canelo. That's off of technique and natural ability, said Jermell to the media when asked if he thinks he can get a fight against Canelo Alvarez if he beats Thomas Lamana and Caleb Plant. That's the fight next. That's the fight that ends my career, said Jamal, about potentially getting a fight against Canelo if he defeats Plant. If Jamal does defeat Journeyman and Caleb Plant, that doesn't mean Canelo is going to waste his time fighting him. There are a lot more fighters who are younger, more active, and better known by the younger fans. Charlo has been too inactive for young fans to know who he is. Very true. That makes a lot of sense, even though what he's saying is kind of biased, in my own personal opinion. But who's to judge, right? Right. I do believe Charlo, the twin brother, has been arrested. That's why he's been out of action for so long. So it does make a lot of sense why he's been inactive, but he hasn't fought anyone. And what this writer is saying is very true. Like, if he's not active, he's not fighting at least once a year, nobody's going to know who the fuck he is. Especially for younger people that have gotten into boxing recently in the last 2 years or so are not going to know who he is unless they really dig deep and find all kinds of list of popular boxers who have fought in the last 10 years. They'll find him at the top of the list, I would believe. But it continues on. All they know is he's the guy with the glazed eyes and the slurred speech who doesn't look or sound right. It's likely going to take a lot more than beating Plant and Lamena for Charlo to get the retirement payday against Canelo. He's going to have to beat some of the younger relevant fighters like Christian Mabelli, Diego Pacheco, Edgar Berlanga, and Oslius Aglias. Do I think Jamal can beat those guys? No, not one of them. The Jamal that we saw against Benavidez Jr. and Montel loses to all those fighters. It continues on saying, facing Plant, I want to fight him. I'm back, said Charlo. I'm comfortable now. You get in your little toxic moments, and I made my mistake. I paid for them, but I never was weak. Even when I was going through my shit, I would get up, run, and go train. I have a boxing gym bigger than this theater at my house. Beating Plant won't prove that Jamal is back because he's nothing special either. That guy hasn't beaten anyone notable since losing to Canelo in 2021. Plant fought one good opponent in the last 4 years, David Benavidez, and lost. The other two guys Plant beat were scrubs, Trevor McCumley and 39-year-old Anthony Durrell. I could get up and go to work and go work out anytime I want, so that's something I kept doing. I knew it was going to make me get better, said Charlo. I was going to bounce back, and then I would have a fallback. There are ups and downs in life. It's about how you bounce back. One thing I can say, I'm back. On May 31st, I'm going to show y'all that I'm back, and I'm going to give y'all what I have to present to y'all. And that's pretty much it. I think Charlo is going to have to prove a lot in this fight. He better knock this guy out. Winning by decision is not an option. Charlo needs a knockout. He needs to knock out every fucking opponent that he wants to face, and then maybe Canelo will give him a fight, because his brother faced Canelo and lost miserably. So, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. I think I think the guy that wrote this article for Boxing 24 News is right. He needs to face some younger, talented fighters. And I think if he does and knocks them the fuck out, or beats them by a landslide with a decision, I could definitely see him getting the nod by Canelo and maybe getting a match against him after the Terrence Crawford fight. But he'd have to put in a lot of work. I mean, he's got to face a lot of fight. I mean, 2 fights in a year? I mean, that's maximum what he could possibly do. But he'd have to get them done like ASAP, quick. Not sitting there waiting forever, beats an opponent, waits a couple of months or up to almost 6 months or so or a year, and then has another fight after that. Because I don't think Canelo is going to stand around and wait forever for a fight with him. Because I think from what I read, Canelo is planning on by next year to be retired. So Canelo ain't looking to stay around for much longer either. So Charlo's got to pick it up and get this shit over and done with. So I don't know if Charlo's going to even have a fucking chance at getting to Canelo for a last fight payday. So we'll have to see what happens with him. But Charlo, May 31st, should be interesting. It's on Prime, and you don't even have to pay for it, so you'll be able to watch it as long as you have a subscription to it. So I can imagine that it's not going to be a bad card. I actually like... I'm definitely going to be watching that event and see what happens. I may watch that over the UFC fight card that's happening on the 31st. Just to see how this goes down. I can always watch a replay of the UFC event and just not look at the results or anything. So we'll have to see on that. But anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.